You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Raiders. And on side note, or part of the equation, has to be the Bears. Because we're going to talk about Justin Fields and we're going to talk about Caleb Williams. Now, there's no secret out there that Mark Davis is looking to make a big splash, and Tom Telesco, the general manager of the Raiders, also is reportedly wanting a big-name quarterback. Well, there may be a little disagreement there in between Antonio Pierce and the veteran general manager, Tom Telesco, because it seems Antonio Pierce would be content rolling forward with Aidan O'Connell. Now, I actually don't hate that, to be honest with you, but I liked him coming out of the draft, and it would be interesting to see, hey, what do you get from a full off season as actually knowing you're going to be the starter, getting all the reps, yada, yada, yada. But nonetheless, I think many believe that the Raiders will draft a quarterback and or trade for one and or sign one from free agency. Who that is, who knows? Right? It seemed like somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo would have been perfect, except he wasn't, and it turned into a disaster, and I just put a video out on that Jimmy's behavior was once again freaking weird with the Raiders, just like it was with the 49ers, and that turned a lot of teams off last year. I can only imagine after a PED suspension what that's going to do this year. So, enter in Justin Fields, enter in the Raiders, because now there's some fire. We got two things. Let's start with the price if the Raiders wanted to move up and get Caleb Williams, all right? And this is a Raiders beat. The price is ridiculous. And one could call it one of these, it's the kind of price I would not do. I would not. The history says when you give up this much for a player in the draft, it doesn't work out. Or if you give up this much in a trade, it doesn't work out. Don't believe me? See Russell Wilson on his way out of town with the Broncos and Deshaun Watson. Okay? So here we go, right here. On his daily podcast this week, Sports Illustrated insider Hondo Carpenter shared what he was told the cost would be for the Raiders to trade for the number one pick. Quote, what I was told, and I believe this person, is that for the Raiders to move from 13-1, it would cost 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. Wow. That is a mammoth cost to move from 12 to pick 3. It would be 3 first-round picks and 1 second-round pick. So you got to come off of 2 extra second-round picks over just being one position higher in the draft. Okay, so that tells you, of course, everybody thinks Caleb Williams is going number 1. I think even Justin Fields thinks that is the case. When the Raiders decided to bring on Luke Getsy as their OC, a lot of people were like, well, then they're out on Justin Fields. And I'm like, are they really? Because if you're Justin Fields, who is obviously frustrated, he's done with it. He came out on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast, in his brother's podcast, I can't remember his name, and just said he's already over the rumors. Like, he's tired of it, he's sick of it, and he wants some kind of resolution. And I think he understands he's going to be moved. Now, Mike Lombardi raised a very good point. All of this fire and all this fever over a quarterback that is 10-28 in his career. 10-28 with a lot of turnovers. But nonetheless, I mean, the kid's got skills. There's no doubt. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he can pull the ball down, run it all over the place. But he's got some deficiencies. Now, look, the Raiders have a lot more weapons than the Bears, all right? And the Bears are pretty decent. You know, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet at tight end, not bad. But the Raiders have Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, and then they're looking to add some kind of a running back in there, right? I don't know if Josh Jacobs will be back or not. My gut feeling would be no. But I don't think the Luke Getsy thing eliminates them, and neither does some other people now, okay? But Antonio Pierce makes it clear he wouldn't mind running it back with Aidan O'Connell. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So Jimmy Garoppolo, whom the team signed for a 3-year, $67.5 million deal just last year, is on his way out and is expected to be cut by the organization. Garoppolo was the choice of Josh McDaniels and never panned out, playing just 7 games last season. He was eventually replaced by rookie Aidan O'Connell, who presently sits at the top of the depth chart. O'Connell seems to be the choice of Antonio Pierce, who had the, quote, interim tag removed from his title a few weeks ago and was named head coach after a successful tenure taking over for McDaniels. Yet sources tell me Tom Telesco, named as the team's general manager on January 23rd, wants a big name at the quarterback position. The fact that the organization signed former Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy will make the transition easier for Fields. That's what I have been banging the drum over. I'm like, I don't think that eliminates them at all from being in the Justin Fields conversation. Some people have, but I'm like, why? He would already know the offense and come into a situation with better weapons, and I just think him and Antonio Pierce are probably going to get along better. All right, so I don't know why that would be more of a struggle. The Raiders have 9 draft picks at their disposal as ammunition to trade for Fields, including a pick in each of the first 6 rounds, starting with the 13th selection of the draft and 3 picks in the 7th round. And this is Tom Poline of Sportskeeda. I normally won't reference Sportskeeda, but Tony Poline is he's a good guy over there as far as NFL insider information. He's got more than a few stories nailed. So he's a pretty good source. Nonetheless, the point is, I don't think the Raiders are out on Justin Fields at all. I don't think the Luke Getsy thing does anything but make it more of a possibility, because it was starting to really click the last half of the season with the Bears for Justin Fields. That said, when you still dig into some of the tape and really look at those games, yeah, he was better, but how much better is certainly up for debate. He's going to get another shot. All right, Justin Fields is getting a shot somewhere. Whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Raiders, it's yet to be seen. But he's going to get at least a chance to compete as a starting quarterback. Now, that said, there's been some rumors out there about that price. All right, because he's been rumored to the Patriots as well. I think it might have been Phil Perry that came out and talked to 6 or 7 or 8 offensive people in the NFL. And, it was general managers. And it was somewhere in the range of a 2nd or 3rd round pick, or a 3rd round pick and a late round pick for Justin Fields. Nobody said 1st round pick. That's what the Bears said. All right, but nobody among these NFL general managers came out and said anything about a 1st round pick. It was all, I think there was one guy that said 2nd round. Everybody else was 3rd round plus some kind of a later or next year pick for Justin Fields. That's not a lot of compensation. If you could get him for a 3rd and say a 6th or a 7th later on, especially having 3 7th round picks, I'd give him a shot. I'd give him a shot. If you're going to center that offense, got to remember, the Bears under Luke Getsy, the last 2 seasons, 1st and 2nd in the NFL with Justin Fields in rushing the football. And Antonio Pierce wants to be old school. He wants to keep the ball on the ground. He wants to run the ball. Luke Getsy and Justin Fields are going to rack up a boatload of yardage on the ground. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. The Raiders would have to give up all kinds of picks for Caleb Williams. If you listen to Merrill Hodge, that would be a disaster. And if you look at past history, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, that might be a terrible idea. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.